Hey guys, real quick before we get into the video, I want to let you guys know that as I was editing this, I had forgot about a couple things. That's why you see the change in filming throughout the video. So you'll see more of this throughout the video. Appreciate you guys tuning back into the channel. Let's get into it. In 1960, the birth rate here in America was 3.65. Today, it's only a third of that, guys, at 1.66. Think about that, man. Coincidentally, the average household income in 1960 was $5,600. Today, young adults aged 20 to 24 are making around $39,000. 25 to 34 are making about $57,000. Now, I know Google was feeding me a bunch of bullshit when it spat out the number 80,000. That used to be middle class, and middle class has all but vanished. We know that. We saw that happen with COVID. Now these days, to be able to survive and lead a decent life, you would have to at least make $120,000 to $140,000 a year. And it's really no wonder why divorces happen so often today. Why the birth rate is so terrible. Listen, guys, there are quite a few pieces of the puzzle, and the dynamics between men and women is only just part of it. So let's get into a few of the pieces and have a conversation about it. Money is the biggest reason why people divorce. Why women divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% among college-educated women, which I would say that they're indoctrinated, not educated. Education does not correlate to intelligence. You see, there is an incentive in policies and laws that benefits women to divorce their husbands, to break up families. We see this all the time with child support, with alimony, women making up 97% recipients of alimony, and I believe 80% of child support, that and the huge court bias against men. Since young adults, on average, make anywhere, we'll say $40,000 to $60,000 a year, women who make up 51% of the workforce, and 40% of which out-earn their spouses or partners, it's only natural that these women aren't going to respect those men that they're with. You see, women look for men who are more capable than them when it comes to gathering resources. We know this to be the truth. Elsewise, why would women always say that they want someone who makes so much money? Think about it. Now, obviously, there are going to be some women who don't care as much that men aren't making so much money. However, most women want to be stay-at-home wives and mothers. That's only natural for them. So, they're going to look for men who are capable of providing that. Understanding that this economy does not cultivate that kind of environment for women. And it definitely doesn't support men in that endeavor. Divorces are happening at a 50% rate. Last time I checked. Maybe even higher now. And I know the marriage rate is going down as well because men are refusing to get married. And why would you? And why would you when you sign a contract with someone who's incentivized to break it and take everything that you own? We've been made to believe that our relationships are supposed to resemble this fantasy of always good vibes, always good feels, always happiness. And we've been made to believe that in the instance that it gets rough or it gets hard, like after the honeymoon phase, that's typically the time to go because that's not seen as love. That's not seen as caring. This idea of love is very fleeting because it's based on one's emotions, which leads me into talking about female empowerment. Sarah Grant, a very well-known anti-suffrage novelist who wrote an article called The New Aspect of the Woman Question. In that article, she coined the term the new woman, which she describes as modern women that we see today. Selfish, entitled, always propping themselves up as someone who is emotionally intelligent, mistaking being emotional for having intelligence. Seeing men as inferior, someone who is incompetent, controlling, manipulative, and take on traits naturally held by men. This type of woman doesn't respect the average man for the reasons I had mentioned before. Men today possess more effeminate traits than some women. Men have been weakened so much. I believe it was in the 30s, 40s, or 60s, somewhere around in there. I can't remember exactly. But men on average could bench press 225. Today, the average is 185. Men have been weakened tremendously. Hardly any men have any ambition, any stoicism, confidence, all of the traits that make men men. And when men suffer, society suffers. Another thing that was pushed by girl bosses was sexual freedom, which led to hookup culture. It is a man's natural drive to spread his seed. It's biological, it's instinct. And women have been led to believe that they can act just like men. Anything men can do, they can do, right? Well, we see how that works out. Women always getting screwed over by giving their bodies to guys who don't care about them, by guys who are acting in their biological interest alone. And listen, this damages both men and women. Guys, you can't be moving through woman to woman. It leads to an empty life. That, and you're only giving more women opportunity to take your resources. So be careful. And just don't do it. Women, they call it pair bonding for a reason. The more men you sleep with, the more damaged you become, the less you're going to be able to pair bond with someone who's actually good for you. So we covered lack of resources. We're too angry at one another. We're too stressed out about where our next meal is going to come from, which bill we're going to have to pay, if we're going to pay our bills or if we're going to eat. And if we can't provide for ourselves, how are we supposed to provide for a family? We covered the Disney culture. We covered girl bosses and that whole movement. We covered hookup culture. Planned Parenthood is another thing. If you don't want to reap the consequences for your actions, you can go and deal with it in a clinic. It's another reason for why the birth rate's collapsing. It's completely ridiculous. So not only are we not having children, we're actively killing them. So perhaps I may be missing one or two pieces of the puzzle. I think I got just about the gist of it. And look, this is all by design, by our politicians, by social media, by the elites of the society. I talked about eugenics quite a few videos ago. I'll be sure to put it up so you can check it out. Explains a lot. So look into that. The average person is all but being extinguished. No one's looking at the real issues. We're too blinded by our own toxicity to really understand the real issues. That being said, do your research. Free your mind. Get out of the pond. Understand what's going on and what you can do about it. And listen, if we don't change, we will go extinct. Americans will die out. Hopefully the pendulum swings soon. If not, we'll die out in the next few generations. So be sure to take care of yourselves mentally and physically. Take care of each other. Do your research. Guys, if this video helped you out at all, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you guys happen to have anything you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I want to hear what's on your minds. So be sure to leave a comment in the comment section. I greatly appreciate you guys stopping in. Talk to you soon.